Hello and welcome to episode 65 of the She Must Knit podcast. My name is Erin and thank you so much for spending some of your time with me today. I hope you guys had a great week. We had a pretty good week. Not much went on. I think last time I talked to you I said I was getting ready for the trunk show that I was having at Unwind Yarn House the next day. And we had it. It was really nice. I have not been to that store in years, probably since we moved to the area. It is such a lovely store, and Karen, who's a new owner, is just such a lovely person. If you haven't been there in a while, I really recommend checking it out. They have a knit night on Thursday nights, and I'm really thinking of checking that out because I haven't had a knit night, like a local to me knit night in years. So I'm kind of excited about that. But the trunk show went really well. I saw a lot of my regular customers, so if you came to say hello, thank you so much. It was really nice to see you. It was really nice to have a chat. It was just a really nice day. The only other thing that is, new this week is that school is out. Womp womp. Avery's home. Today was the first day. It's always an adjustment. She's really happy to be home for the summer. I tell her, I don't know why you're happy to be home for the summer. Mommy's really boring compared to school, but I will do my best. So today we went to the library. They had a kickoff party for their summer reading club. We've done this for the last couple of years. And yeah, we signed her up. We didn't take out any books because it was a bit of a madhouse with everybody there taking advantage of all the activities they had. So we signed her up, and then we went to the park behind the library and she played in the splash pad. And then we came home for lunch because we had a kind of a thunderstorm kind of day in the afternoon. But that's what we did today, and that's what we'll be doing probably going forward over the summer. Lots of library stuff, lots of just out and about activities in the mornings, and then afternoons need to be Mummy's time. So we will see how that goes. I will keep you updated. But for today, it was fine. It's actually later in the evening. It's about dinner time right now. And just came home early from work and was like, would you like me to take her out? I was like, yes, please. So he's taken her out for a daddy-daughter dinner, and then they're going to go to the park, just so I can get a little bit more of the stuff I need to get done before going into the weekend. So that was long and rambly. My apologies. Let's get started with the knitting. What do I have for you today? I have a finished object and a work in progress, and then I have other little bits and pieces. So I want to talk about my bingo update. This will be the 6-month update on how my Crafty Bingo Challenge is going. I have a birthday sneak peek for you. So if you've followed me for a long time, you will know that July is my birthday month. I usually have a sale at some point that month. And then also I have something extra special for this birthday month. So I have a sneak peek of that for you. And then I think I'm going to throw in a little product show and tell. I've recently bought something to try and get me through the summer, and I used it today, and I thought I'd share that with you. And then finally, I just have a little announcement at the end in terms of a new channel that I've started. So let's get started. I'm going to have a quick sip of my very cold coffee. I made this like when we got home from the library today, and I just haven't finished it. But that's fine. I've mentioned before, cold coffee doesn't bother me. 'Tis the season of iced coffee, right? So iced coffee is just coffee that's gone cold. Let's start with my finished object. So I don't have my finished object here to share with you. If you've been following me on Instagram, you would have seen the flurry of posts over the last couple of days as I was trying to complete my June Desert Vista Dyeworks socks. I've mentioned that I was making them for Avery's teacher as her end of school year gift. And yeah, so they had to be done by yesterday. I had to have them all done and dried and packed up in her backpack for yesterday morning, and so that's what I was working on for the most part of this week. I think last week I showed you I had one finished sock. I was either working down the foot or I was almost done the decreases from the heel shaping, I'm not sure. Either way, I had about half a sock left to finish before Thursday to get that gift done, and I did finish it. So I think Wednesday, my goal was to finish them by Wednesday, so I had time to block them with some nice smelling soak and get them outside to dry so they'd be nice and crisp and gift ready for Thursday morning. And I did finish them. Wednesday morning I was working on the final decreases of the toe of the second sock. I was able to soak them and block them and hang them outside. I think by the time after dinner rolled around, by the time the sun had passed over our house, so it wasn't really benefiting the socks anymore, They were like just barely damp. They were almost dry, but just a tiny little bit of dampness left in them. So I ended up taking them up to Avery's room, figuring out how to hang them on something. I situated her fan in front of it, turned it on, walked away, crossed my fingers, hoped for the best. And by the time she went to bed, they were dry. So that all worked out. I sent them with her to school the next day. I got a lovely email from the teacher saying that she really liked them. Hopefully they fit. Hopefully she'll get some use out of them. And yeah, so that is done. I think I'm going to try and put up a picture of them if I haven't already. I've talked about them a lot in the past episodes. Basically, I was following the Jangles pattern for the most part. I believe the Jangles pattern uses a 2x2 rib, and I prefer to do a 2x1 rib, so that I changed. I would have changed the stitch count because I like to use 2mm needles for my socks, which tends to give a smaller, tighter gauge, so I like to use a larger stitch count. So I would have used 81 stitches to start off with, and then once I got past the heel shaping, I like to decrease that number down to about 70 stitches. I think that's really the only thing to mention about that pattern. I did mention last week how I usually will manage the yarn so that the striping remains intact after the heel. I didn't do that for either of the socks, and I think because the striping pattern in this particular colorway was so subtle, you really couldn't tell. And then also I did not reverse the striping like I usually like to do, but again, because the color was so subtle, I don't think it would have mattered anyway. They ended up looking pretty much identical, even though I didn't start the second sock off at the exact same point as I started the first sock. By the time I got to the toe, it ended off at the same striping sequence, so I don't know how that worked out. But again, I really don't think the teacher would have noticed either way. So I am just happy to have those done, and that project actually worked towards a couple of my bingo goals, and you will see that when I talk about that towards the end of the episode. So that was my finished object, and then the only other thing that I've been working on since I finished that is my hand spun socks. So I have those here for you to see. I think last time I showed you, I was working down the leg. I'm not sure where I was, but I was working down the leg, maybe around here. And I had mentioned that I was considering getting a contrast yarn for the heel because this is hand spun and it is a 2-ply. I don't know how strong it is, and I wanted something with nylon, like a more traditional sock yarn for the heel. So when I went to the trunk show at Unwind Yarn House, one of the things that I walked around and looked for was just some workhorse yarn that I could use for the heel, and I found some in the back. She's got like a front room and then a back room. I found some in the back room in some really pretty colors, and I ended up picking one of those out. And considering I did not have my socks with me, I think I did a really good job at picking a coordinating color. So the color that I chose, you can see here, is this really pretty kind of turquoisey teal color. The yarn is Drops Fable, and I like that these came in 50-gram balls because I didn't need a lot, and I will just be able to use whatever I don't use from that ball, I'll be able to put in my drawer of solid sock yarns that I like to use for contrasts. But it perfectly matches, I don't know if you can see, but it perfectly matches this color that is in my yarn there. So yeah, I'm really pleased with it. The other color that I was looking at, there was this really bright chartreuse green in the yarn as well. I was kind of going between the two, but knowing myself and knowing that I tend to like teal a lot more than green, I decided to go with the teal, and I'm glad I did. I think it adds a really nice contrast with all the different colors that are going on. So at this point, I have finished the heel, and I put in a German short row heel, and I am working down the foot. Now, all these little bits and bobs, these markers, this is my way of kind of making note to myself that I did something in the pattern, and usually it's some kind of increase or some kind of decrease, and in this case it's decreases. So I started the socks with my usual 81 stitches, knowing that this yarn, because it is hand spun, there is some variance in thickness, but knowing that in general it's around fingering, maybe slightly thicker. So I knew the legs were going to be probably larger than if I was working the same stitch count in just your standard fingering. But my plan is to wear these kind of like over socks. So I knew they would be bigger, so I started off with 81 stitches, did my ribbing, did my cuff, went on my way, and as I went down the leg and when it changed to stockinette, I kind of gauged from there how big the sock was going to be, and I could see that it was quite a wide leg, which is fine for me for being comfortable over my calves. But I knew once I got down to the heel, if I stayed with this stitch count, that the heel would likely be just way too roomy. So what I did is, as I worked down towards where I was going to start my short row heel, I did some decreases on either side just to bring that stitch count down just a little bit. So that's what these guys are. And so when I make my second sock, I'll know when I'm at the same point on the second sock as these markers, just to do a decrease. And then after I did my heel, I've mentioned that how I like to bring the stitch count down for the foot. So I've marked down where I've done decreases. Yeah, this guy is my beginning of the round marker, but there's a marker right here below him and there's a marker above him. So I've marked where I've done my decreases so that I know to do that on the second sock as well. So at this point, I'm just working down the foot, and then I will be starting my second sock after. I think now that this is my primary sock, I should be able to get a lot of work done on this over the weekend, because I can't start the next Desert Vista Dyeworks sock until Monday. So I have the next 2 days where I don't really have another sock. So it's going to be either this project or my Cumulus blouse, because that's just round and round and around. So hopefully, and because this is slightly thicker, it would be really nice if I could at least finish the first sock and get that second one started by the time I get to next week. We'll see how my progress goes on that. So that's all my knitting, but I wanted to share with you the product that I mentioned earlier. And I have it right here because this is what I used to take this project to the library and to the park with me today. This is an item that I had seen on Amazon when I was shopping for something that I normally shop for, probably cat litter or something. And I kind of added it to my wish list, knowing that I would wait to purchase it for the summertime, because it looked like it would be something handy to have while Avery and I are out and about doing all the activities that she likes. And I always bring knitting with me when we go out. Like when I take her out to do stuff, I always have knitting with me. And this looked like it would work really well for that. So I used it today, and I just wanted to share it with you. I will update you. My full thoughts have not been formed, but I can give you my kind of first impression thoughts. So it is this bag here, and it is marketed as a knitting bag. So what I liked about it from the description is that it has a really big handle. I can wear it over my shoulder. It's a pretty deep bag, but not a big bag. So I can fit my project. My project goes in the top there, and you can see there's some pockets. So today what I did is, in this little elastic pocket, I put my phone, and then it has a zippered pocket right here. So I threw some change in there, because sometimes with the library programs, there's a lot of free programs, but sometimes there's programs that are kind of a little more specialized that might be $2 to join. So I threw some coins in there, and it's nice and zippered, which I liked. And then the other thing that I really thought was neat with this when I saw it online is that there's this whole separate pocket down here. So if I zip this open, it's almost like a little lunch bag. And so that's what I wanted this for. So Avery's water bottle is still in there. Oh, and she's got some snacks in there too. So I thought this would be the perfect compartment where I could throw in some snacks for her, her water, and stuff like that. It's got another little pocket here. It's got a zippered pocket here. I've got some sunscreen in there. So just things that I know we need at the park, or that we will likely need out and about, but I don't want mixed in with my knitting. This is a really good size for that. And it's all this kind of nylon material, so I feel like if something leaks, it's not going to go everywhere. I like that this pocket is like a vinyl, so that's why I put the sunscreen in there. And then the other thing is that it has this little zippered pocket back here, and that's where I put my keys. So I don't have to carry a purse, basically. I can put everything that we need in here. I think I even have, there's a pocket, so the pocket that I put the coins in, I also put her library card in. So basically I can just grab this bag, I can throw some snacks and stuff in the bottom, and off we go. And I've got everything I need with me. I don't have to worry about having another bag unless she wants to bring like her kind of part. She's got a backpack that she brings to the park that she puts stuff in. If she wants to bring that, that's fine. That's her responsibility. All I need to bring for myself is this bag. So, like I said, today's the first day I used it, but so far it's got all the little things that I need for the purpose that I need it for. Again, it is marketed as a knitting bag, so there are certain things in there. There's some grommets in the main part as well, so you can feed your yarn through. I never do that because I'm like, well, you'd have to cut your yarn if you don't, like, until you finish your project, it's stuck in there, right? So I don't like using those. But otherwise, I'm really happy with the amount of pockets and little storage things in there. I'm happy with the size of it. It's not too big. I love that there's that little compartment on the bottom that's almost like a little lunch bag. That's really helpful. So I'm going to keep using it over the summer, and I will update you as I go, and just to see if it really is like if it's all I dreamed that it would be for our kind of summer activities. And I will link it down below if you're interested in looking at the information about it. So I think next what we're going to do is the update on my Crafty bingo card, and then after that I will give you the little sneak peek of my birthday month surprise as well as my channel announcement. So the bingo update. If you are not familiar with Crafty Bingo, it is a all-year challenge that we are doing over in the Bling string group on Ravelry. You can join in at any time, so it's not too late. There's still 6 months, lots of time. Just go into the thread, say you'd like to play. I'll create a bingo card for you. Fill it up with the goals that you want to do that you know you can complete by the end of the year. They have to be goals that have not yet been completed. And then off you go. You can join the fun. So I think the last time I shared a update with you, it was in episode 52. It was at the end of March, and I had about 5 bingo squares marked off as complete. I have added, since then, I've added 6 more bingo squares, which was really nice to see because I think I've mentioned this month that this month has just felt really unproductive to me, and I'm still kind of feeling that way. I still feel like I'm working on all these little things, but none of them are really coming to completion yet. So I feel like I haven't had time to work on anything, but yet I'm not, like, I feel like I'm working on lots of things, but nothing's being completed. But like I just it's been a very unproductive month in terms of how I'm feeling, even though I think I have been productive. But seeing that I have completed 6 squares since the last time, I can see that projects are getting done, so it's very motivating. Now, the other thing I should mention about the challenge is that June is the time of year where if you are already participating, you have an opportunity to go in and change up to 3 of your goals. All the information is in the thread, so I encourage you to go check out how you can change your goals if you feel you need to. I think this is the first year where I am not going to change any of my goals. I'm really happy with my card. I'm happy with how I'm doing. When I look at all the goals that I've yet to complete, I still want to complete them. So I'm going to leave my card as is, which kind of really makes me happy. So let's go on to my update. So I think what I'm going to do is just move over a tiny little bit so that I can put a little picture up in the corner there of what my card looks like now. So since I have shared my card with you last time at the end of March, what I have, the squares that I have since completed and have added to my card are first the 6 pairs of gift socks. So that is one of the squares that finishing Avery's teacher socks has helped me complete, so that is done. Do a pair of sport weight socks. I finished those recently, so I was able to mark that off. Finish 3 skeins of handspun. Again, I was able to finish that recently and mark that off. Do months 4 to 6 of the Desert Vista Dyeworks Challenge. Avery's teacher socks helped me finish that. Use up most of my Lion Brand bulky yarn. That I finished, I think just after that update, I finished that project, so I was able to mark that off. That was the iced cardigan that I finished. And then finally, make a pair of sample socks. And I think I finished that before the frolic, so I finished that a couple months ago too. But a lot of those squares are recent additions because of the projects that I completed. So overall, I'm really happy with how the progress is going on my card. There are a few projects that I thought I would have done by the end of this month that would even add another square or two. Like if I finish the lacy pullover for my friend's daughter, I think that would mark off the square of 6 garments or 6 items for kids. And there might have been another one that I could have completed. If I finish these hand-spun socks, that's another square too, but I honestly don't think I'm going to finish those by Monday. But all that means is that by the next time I do an update, maybe in September, another 3 months from now, I should have a whole bunch more squares. This may, fingers crossed, be the first year where I complete my entire card. That would be really exciting. But yeah, so I think that is the update. And so the last thing I'm going to share with you is the sneak peek for my birthday month. So I just have the fabrics here because I haven't started making the bags. I'm only going to make one bag for the product photos because the basis of these birthday items is that they are going to be made to order. So you get to choose the size of bags, etc. that you want. So I'm going to make one so that you can kind of see what it looks like, but I don't want to make a whole bunch because I don't know what sizes people might be interested in. So I'm going to show you the fabrics. So if you know me really, really well, you will know that I have 2 loves. There are 2 kind of themes that I just love. If I see something with these themes, I tend to be very tempted by them. So the first one is poppies. I love poppies. I love art that uses poppies. I love artistically rendered poppies. I have a wall over there that I've been working on that I want to just have filled with images of poppies. So I love poppies. So that is the first thing I got. I ordered some special fabric that I thought was really, really pretty that has a poppy print on it. So this is that fabric there. So it's poppies. It's got this bright, bright pink background and then the really pretty red poppies. So that's the first print. And again, those will be where you can choose the size you want, and then they will be made to order. And then the second thing that I love, so my fandom, I know a lot of people have multiple fandoms. I pretty much have one fandom. And if you know me well, you know what it is. It's the show Friends. I just love that show. I think it was just the age that I was when that show came out. Was it 94? I would have been a teenager. And I just remember going over to my friend's house every Thursday night and watching it with her, and it has just stuck with me. I have the VHS, I have all the DVDs. Now that it's on Netflix, I watch it on Netflix. It's just a show that I can watch over and over, and it just makes me laugh every time. So I have some Friends fabric. Now let me tell you, Friends fabric in general does not exist out in the world. I cannot just go out and purchase ready-made Friends fabric. So what I had to do was purchase some images that I found off another site that someone had created, and I purchased those images that I can then use whatever way I want, and I had to create this fabric. It was not easy, but I did it. I really wanted Friends fabric. So this is the fabric here, and you can see all the little images. So obviously there's not all the images that you could possibly get for Friends, but I tried to pick the more well-known ones and then also some that Friends fans would understand. But that is the fabric there. And so again, that is going to be up in the listing where you can pick the size bag that you might be interested in if you are a fellow Friends fan. Now, for the Friends theme, there will be a few other items. I am doing some yarn sets. I have made a clay progress keeper based on one of the popular images that you can see on that fabric. So there will be clay markers and there will be some yarn sets that go with the theme. These listings are going to be on the website for my entire birthday month. So from July 1st all the way to July 31st, they will be up for anybody who is interested in. I don't know what the interest is going to be. So for the first little bit, I should have the materials all ready to go. But if it gets to where I've run out of what I've already purchased, then it will go into like pre-order mode, and then they will just have a certain end date that I will ship them by. So that is the information on that. That is my special birthday items, and I do usually have a birthday sale as well on my birthday, but these items will not be included. So if you're interested in any of the other bags that I have in stock, you are welcome to wait for my birthday sale. It's about the middle of the month, but for the entire month, I'm going to have the listings available for these special items. So the only other thing that I have to add for this episode is that I have started a second YouTube channel. If you know me, if you've been following me on Instagram or even little bits in the episodes here and there, you know that I've really been enjoying playing with makeup over the past year. And I've had a lot of people comment on just like my makeup challenges that I do on Instagram, how they would love to see things in more detail. So I thought it might be fun to start a makeup-based YouTube channel. So I will link it below. It's called Dabbling in Color because that is what I feel I like to do. I'm not an expert. I don't know everything about what I'm doing. I'm a dabbler. I just like to have fun with it. And the content is basically going to be focused around showing you how I use what I have. So there's a lot of makeup channels out there that are very review based, where they buy new products and they show you the new products in case you want to buy those products. I want to do it more where you're looking at what you already have and how you can use what you have. So that's what I will be doing. I will be focusing on showing you how I use what I have with different, I'm still going to be doing my challenges, but you'll be able to see more detail because I'll be talking through each day. And yeah, I mean, I will be buying things here and there. I will be doing, showing some different products and stuff like that, but it's not going to be primarily review based. So I thought that would be fun. I'm going to give it a go. We'll see what happens. But that is it. That is it for this week. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you have a fabulous weekend with lots of crafting, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.